the Order of Smedley to order. If everybody will please rise, and I'll bring this over for Cathy, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Cathy, please rise.
Am I the only online person? I thought John Paul was here, and Macy?
Bring it in. There we go. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right. There she is. There she waits. All right, our SAA is absent today, so we wish Parveen best travels wherever her flight has taken her this weekend. I am Laurean Calendar. I am standing in the wrong spot. I am the president of the Order of Smedley, and for a rule of order on the floor, if you're coming to the front, we have the stage marked off here for right, here for left, and ideally we want to be right on the X. So that's where our markers are for the front. I request that everybody come up to the front. Another rule of order, if you're speaking from your position, always make sure you are holding the mic. So as a reminder, from a few meetings ago, we made it a new rule. Jeanette, will you come up and demonstrate with me? We made a new, put your stuff down, you need free hands. Okay. We made a new rule in the Order of Smedley as we learn excellent mic handling. We have two types of mics we learn how to handle in this club. We have the lavalier, which is attached discreetly to my dress belt, and then we have the handheld. All right, and the handheld is usually where we get most confused in how to handle because we don't know what to do with our hands, especially in Toastmasters when we need to shake someone's hand and we're usually holding the mic in our right hand. And what hand do we normally shake with? Our right hand. So we decided in this club, in order to continue the Toastmaster tradition of shaking for each handoff, that as we're speaking, we're going to transfer the mic to the left hand so that we may shake with the right. This club got away from shaking because we didn't know what to do. A mic handoff is not a shake. So with Toastmaster tradition, remember, if you're handing off to the next speaker, every speaker in this room must be speaking into a mic at all times. If you're speaking, you're intimate with our brand new microphone. And intimate looks like this. It looks like we're talking right up to the mic. It's the only way to be heard on these sensitive mics. So if you're speaking in this room, you're either on the lavalier or you're on the handheld intimately. If you're handing off, you're going to switch and shake. I like that. Switch and shake. Switch and shake. All right, everybody got that? All right, let's give our demonstrator a round of applause. Thank you, Jeanette. So just remember on, off when you're using the mic. So we'll just leave that public property right there. So we're all clear? All righty. And then I assume that online we're good with the mics that you have at your particular computers. Just make sure that we can hear you. We did microphone tests earlier during our technology test, and it sounded like we could hear everybody just fine online. So we're good there. All right, we will do announcements at the end of the meeting. So at this time, I would like to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Jeanette Sweeney.
Welcome, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Or hang on. So today's meeting, I just want to make one announcement on the agenda. Miss Judy Chandra is not here, so we will not have an counter, I guess. But Laurean will be our grammarian and a speaker as well. So if anybody else wants to step in as one of those roles. Okay, so we'll make that change to Brenda as the counter. And with our theme today, motivation, I think that's an excellent theme. But I'm going to play a little bit on that because as I was thinking about being a Toastmaster for another club, I want to know what satisfies you. I think instead of knowing what motivates us, let's work on what satisfies us. And maybe that'll help motivate us to get where we need to be. And just to give you online people, just think about what satisfies you, because I may ask you a question later on during the day or during the morning. Announcements are at the end. So do you want to speak now, or do we have a word of the day?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster, we do. Our word of the day, which I absolutely adore, someone sent it to me as our word of the day today, is excursion. Excursion is a short journey or trip, especially for leisure. Although it can also be a deviation from a regular pattern or path. So my speech today is going to be an excursion from my original Pathways project, as I chose a new Pathways project and then starting all over again. Because I didn't like the one I originally picked, and I stopped doing speeches, and I realized why I stopped doing speeches, so I paid for a new path so I can start doing speeches again. So excursion, I will be looking for good uses of this word, bonuses if you use it in conjunction with our theme motivation, and any other wonderful phrases like here today.
Thank you for Marion. So let's use that word excursion, and let's go on an excursion today with the Order of Smedley. And also along that, let's take a ride with our journey this year. As you know, some of you may know, myself and Laurean, another member of this club, Parveen, who is not here, is a part of the conference chair committee. And we are going to jazz up your journey this year. So let's get ready to jazz up our journeys in Toastmasters. And now I don't know if our first speaker is ready. So I would like to introduce our first speaker, Laurean Callender, who is a multi-member of clubs of District 48. She's a member of Trinity Odessa. And again, as I already said, she's a member of our conference committee, and she's the president of this current club, the Order of Smedley. And she's rocking us. Let me tell you, she is rocking us. And Laurean is speaking from her first path with Pathways. She will be doing her icebreaker, and her title is
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Be the change you want to see in the world. Let's welcome Miss Laurean Callender.
This speech is new to me because I typically pre-write my speeches weeks ahead of my date, memorize them word for word, practice in multiple clubs before giving it my home club. This time, as I embark on Motivational Path, which is really my heart and what my podcast is all about, I thought I'd learn how to speak a little bit more from the cuff. So my evaluation, I would like to be more about how I can speak from the cuff and be effective in getting my point across, as I give my icebreaker for motivational speaking. Be the change you want to see in the world. What does that mean? We've all heard it, right? It's from Nelson Mandela. What does it mean? Be the change. Okay, that sounds really daunting, Mother Teresa. I can't change the entire world. I can barely change myself. I give up. What does that mean, be the change? Well, I learned this the hard way about 10 years ago, what change means, with that phrase, what the change means in the world. But as I reflect even further back in my life, I saw it in action for the first time when I was in middle school in 1986. Now, before I talk about what I saw and why it's so important, let me tell you about why I chose the motivational path. My entire life, I was raised by a sociopath. My mother's a sociopath. And with that comes a lot of challenges. One of their favorite things to do is to move houses. A lot. I lived in 18 houses before I graduated high school, just as many cities, which means I never got to develop relationships. And there were no consistent adults in my life to see what was going on and to provide any aid, because as soon as something happens, we up and moved before she was caught. Very sneaky. They're conniving people. What that also means is, being an ugly duckling growing up, I was bullied at home and at school. Beat up, ridiculed, shoved into lockers. The list goes on. But mostly by the people that were there to protect me and love me. My sister primarily was the main troublemaker, who she would get other people to help her join in. Walks home from school, ended up in broken bones and bruises, and they're just coughed up at the dinner table as just another walk home from school, no big deal. Why is this important? Because if you experience something and you don't get to talk about it, and you don't get to recover from it, you don't learn how to heal from it. And only a trusted adult can help you with that. Now, children these days are taught to talk to a trusted adult. But back in the day, those two words didn't go together in my world. Trusted adult. They didn't. When we're growing up, and even today sometimes, you'll see posters: don't bully, be nice, be kind. Okay, fine. But what does that mean when you're in the middle of it? Who cares? Well, we're told that bullying is bad. We're told that being mean is bad. We're told that ridiculing is bad. Okay, but we can't stop that from coming into our world, can we? We can't stop someone from being mean to us. We can't stop someone who wants us to do something we don't want to do, even though we say no. We can't stop these things from happening. They're going to happen. Whether we're little or older, they're going to happen. But what can we do? We can choose how we respond to them. And that's the most critical thing. When something bad happens to us, how do we respond? And it's that response, those choices, in those in-between moments of being ridiculed and beat up and left in a room and locked in a room and not given dinner because we're crying about being beat up at school, that builds our character. But how do we know how to make those choices, how to make that switch? It's that hidden power of character that becomes our destiny, that drives us to become who we're designed to become. Now, let's go back to 1986, when I saw this happen for the first time. Now, I wasn't being bullied, but I was still harmed in a roundabout way. And here rises my first child hero. Now, because I was raised by a sociopath, we were always on the go. I got my first 1 million sky miles also by the time I graduated high school. So flying was just a part of who we were. So there we were in 1986 on a Delta flight at 5 o'clock. Now, if anyone's ever traveled, there are 3 rush hours on a runway. And this is important. It's 8 o'clock, noon, and 5 o'clock, and they're called pushes. So we're in the 5 o'clock push at DFW Airport, one of the largest airports in the country, also hub to Delta. So guess what's all on the runway? American and Delta flights. Tons of them, lined up like elephants in a circus, nose to tail, tons of them. Now, this isn't new to me. I know it only takes about 20 or 30 minutes. I'm going to go way over. 20 to 30 minutes to clear the runway. But there we were, sitting on the plane. Now, this is also important. So my sister and I are in the front row, holding our teddy bears, strapped in, and we couldn't get out of our seats because the people sitting on either side of us were so big, themselves were blocking access to our seatbelts. So we're trapped. So we're sitting there, sun setting, starting to get, that in-between dark and light color out, and all of a sudden, boom! The whole right side of the plane goes up like a red ball of fire. Fist fights. break out. Punching, screaming, chaos like a hornet's nest full of angry bees everywhere, stuck in a tube on fire. What's the first thing that happens? They get up, they open the hatch, the slide pops out, people cross and jump. Guess who were the first people off that plane? Guess who were the first people down, out, and gone? And when I say gone, I mean gone like ants disappearing in the skyline. You will never guess. The people that were there, the trusted adults who were there to protect us. Every single Delta flight attendant was down and gone. Gone. So we're sitting there, scared, heckless, in the front row where we were supposed to have been one of the first people off, but because we could not get access to our seatbelts, we were stuck and getting scareder. And then my hero rose from the angry mob. She was just a little teeny tiny thing sitting across the aisle from me. She gets up. She was smaller than I was, and I was in middle school, guys. She was little like you. In fact, same kind of style. She gets up, brunette though, auburn hair, I remember. Gets up, breaks up the fist fight, gets everyone back in the seat, takes that microphone, and with the sound of a disciplined principal, gets everyone relaxed, buckled in until we get gated, transported back to our gate, where we are unloaded safely. Who was she? She was a senior American flight attendant, non-revving on a Delta flight, traveling for free. And she went to work, and she saved us. One person did that. Now, I wasn't being bullied. I wasn't being harassed. My life was in danger, saved. But I learned that it only takes one little voice amidst a lot of chaos to make a change. Now, she didn't make a change in the entire world, but she did change my world. And it wasn't until middle school that I had an adult actually impact my world in a positive way. So to me, she's my childhood hero. I don't know her name. She doesn't know mine. But that inspired me to use my voice and to learn how to stand up, even though it kept getting pushed back down later in life. Is I'll unpack all of this as I go through my motivational path. But I learned that my voice matters from her. And I learned that there's a time in everyone's life where your voice will matter to somebody else, that you'll get an opportunity to change somebody else's world. She may not ever remember that she did that for little old me. I'm sure she remembers that she did it for that flight, but not for little old me. And everybody in here will have that opportunity to be that change in someone else's world. And you may not even know it because you stood up in your power and you were you. You did you the best you could. So I stand here today hoping that your heart has been stirred as you're sitting on my sidelines. As I want and I'm eager for each of you to be the change you want to be in someone else's world. Because in America, and the gift we've been given, we get to be the change in the world. Thank you. Way over.
Thank you, Laurean, for that wonderful, motivational, awesome story. I can't imagine being on a flight, never going on another flight after that boom you've heard. So. And before I go on for our next speaker, I meant to mention we also have another change to the agenda. Mr. Jean May, our area director, is being our timer. And we had a late guest walk in. Would you like to speak up and say your name and why you're here? Oh.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Green, and I was invited by Brenda Alaco, and I was active in Toastmasters, but I moved to Colorado, so now I'm back to Florida, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, is our second speaker ready who's online?
Yes, I am.
Alrighty, so our next speaker is Cathy Norris, who you'll see on the online screen. And Cathy is our current treasurer of the Order of Smedley. She is also, like a few of us, a member of another club, Trinity Odessa, that meets on Fridays. And she is a wonderful speaker. Do you have a title? I didn't ask for your title.
Yes, I can kind of do my little intro. My speech today is called Unaware Out of the Womb. It's also an icebreaker speech because I'm doing a different path in Trinity Odessa, and I hadn't started a path for Order of Smedley, so it's my icebreaker.
Okay, so let us give us a warm welcome for Miss Cathy Norris, who's doing her second icebreaker for her second path. Let's give her a warm up. Take it away.
Imagine, picture this, coming out of the womb. I think we all could do that if we put our minds to it. And how unaware we are of what's going to happen in this world. In fact, right now, it's a mess when we're coming out of the womb. We don't know what's happening. And yet, we have to expect things to take care of us because we were so protected in that womb. Like Laurean said, we might want protection because this is a new environment that we're coming into out of the womb. And out of the womb, we come. And I didn't really realize this until much older, decades later, that I was actually so unaware of what I was taking in, making things mean, and how I took in the world. I made things mean, things that were my stories, and I had no idea. So right today, I'd like to share a little bit of my journey. And I have a learning lesson already, and I love to learn. So that's one thing that you'll get to know about me is I love to learn and expand. And the learning is that I should have put my PowerPoint presentation together and given it to Mike beforehand, but it's real simple. There's no words, so I'm going to hold up some pictures. So this is my family. Out of the gate, very young I was in this picture. And I had 4 older brothers and I was the youngest. And every so often we'd get dressed up and go to church, and then my dad would bring us home and we'd take pictures. And so this is one of those pictures. This next picture was some shots from Olin Mills. I came from Michigan, and these were some shots that were specialty shots taken of me as a very small girl. This next set of pictures, I'll show one at a time. Oops, let me go to this one first. Is a picture of what was part of my family when I was still quite young. I'm there in the high chair. However, that's not my mom standing in the background. That is not also just all my brothers, that's some family friends. And we were celebrating, as we usually do. This picture was me as a little older child. I think we were celebrating my maybe 4th birthday there, based on the candles on the cake. Again, my mom was not in the picture. My mom actually died when I was 9, but she went to the hospital when I was 4. And I remember that night she went into the hospital. I was sitting in our house. We had a 2-story house, and behind the steps to the upstairs, there was a door, and I was sitting in a chair behind that door. And all of a sudden I heard, wow, boom, boom, bam, bam. Door swung open, hit my chair that I was sitting in. And down, I looked over, my mom was flat on her face. Her nose was bleeding. By the time we turned her over, we were calling the hospital or the emergency, the ambulance to come and get her. And she never made another ride home. She stayed in the hospital, in various different hospitals, for 5 years. And I wasn't able to visit her for the majority of that time. In 3 of those years, she was in a coma, unable to speak, eat on her own. And so it was a traumatic experience for me. The next set of pictures, fast forward to about 4th and 5th grade, and that hairdo, woo boy, I was so embarrassed to wear that. I was sent to stay with my dad's new kind of, I guess, girlfriend at the time, a friend of hers who did beauty salon. And she did this picture for my hair when I was in 4th grade, and I hated it. I smashed it as soon as the picture was down. I went and washed it out in the school lunchroom because I just hated having to go to school looking like that. This was a picture when I was a little bit older. We didn't have a whole lot in my family growing up. And here I was. Church was very important to us. This was at my 8th grade communion. But before I got to that 8th grade communion, I had some tough experiences. As the only girl in a household of 5 men, I wasn't taught very girly things, not even how menstruation came about. And when that did happen, the next day after school, it actually happened in the classroom. And I didn't know what was going on. And I left a mess behind in the chair. And then the next day, some boys pulled me into the coat closet. And this was at a faith-based school. And took out the book, The Exorcist, and shared it with me. And it was pretty traumatic. This next picture fast forwards to way long later, to 1995. This was when, well, probably 1994. This was when my father was on his last legs. He was in his nursing home. That's one of my brothers. And we were caring for him and visiting with him on his last few days. So that's a little bit about my early years. And I was so unaware out of the womb of what was going to happen in my life that it just was an interesting experience, and I've learned tons from that. And in my journey, I'm going to be sharing more about how this has motivated my life. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Mr. John Paul, are you available? Are you online?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, I'm going to introduce you in a second here. Or is simplest? No, or I'll. Okay. But I introduce the evaluation team, right? Or the simplest do that. Normally the general evaluator does that. All right. So I'm going to bring up our lovely general evaluator for the morning, Mr. Simplest Asu. Let's welcome Simplest.
Good morning, everybody. It is a pleasure today to serve as your general evaluator. My role as a general evaluator is to present at the end an overall evaluation of the meeting. But now I will introduce the speech evaluators. And Jane Paul will be evaluating Laurean calendar. And then Mike, is that Mike or Jeanette now? Jeanette. Or Jeanette will be introducing Cathy. Will be evaluating Cathy. So I'll call on John Paul.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. It is my pleasure to evaluate Laurean's icebreaker today. Now, in an icebreaker, we would look at the strong points that the speaker already has and that she can build on, and also make some suggestions of improvement. I thought the subject matter, and especially the execution of this excursion over the lifetime of Laurean was well done. The strong points of the speech in particular was that it is very personal, touching, and even though we haven't necessarily all experienced those exact things, it was inspirational to take action. It was inspirational in the sense that we could apply some of what we heard to our own lives. In working on this speech, Laurean initially mentioned that normally she practices more and then presents it at her home club. I think that type of background maybe could have been shared with the evaluator before the time and not part of the speech itself. And also her reference to, oh, I'm going to go over time. I think that's a slight distraction in the actual speech. But once Laurean got going, it was very clear that there was a structure. And it was very clear that she told us her life events, but also why it was important to take certain lessons from that. And then also connecting it to the audience. How do we respond to that? I loved the way how the speaker was very lively. Body language, especially later, was a very strong point of the speaker. And also the use of very vivid language, talking about airplanes lining up like elephants, talking about people disappearing like ants. So those were all great aspects of the speech. So all in all, I would say that the speaker did a great job in introducing a very personal topic, remained focused once she got going in the storyline, and brought it to an end where we all had some takeaway. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Now I will introduce Jeanette, that will be evaluating Cathy's speech.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Cathy, you're there. I think you did an excellent job. I think you did an excellent job in allowing us to let us know that even though you forgot to submit your PowerPoint presentation to our online moderator, you were already prepared to show us the pictures, which was awesome. And that reminded me, every time I go home, I look at my family pictures and they're the same craziness. We didn't like our hair back then, but they still took us pictures and all that other stuff. So I thought it was very intriguing to learn how your family life was. And I sorry you lost your mom at a young age, because that can be tough in a household of 1 woman and 5 other men. So I can just imagine what that life was like. And I think that's a great opener to in your path. I don't recall which path you're on. I don't know if you mentioned that. I might have missed that. But I thought that was an intriguing speech to really, hopefully you'll take us on this journey of your life through your path and how you established who you are today. Because I think you are a wonderful woman, and I envy you in the way you speak here at our club, especially when you give us tidbits about table topics, because I know you won the table topics division last year for our division. So I thought that was wonderful. You give awesome information to inspire us and become better speakers, and to be more, what am I looking for? To know where we stand and how we want to speak with our own goals in life. So I just want to commend you on your orderly of your speech, and you looked great online, and I think you did a wonderful thing, and I think you should do more online presentations. I think you're very well succeeding in that level. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette.
No, now we do it. Okay. Out of order. Now I would like to begin our impromptu session of our meeting for table topics. Our illustrious one of our immediate past district directors, Brenda Alaco, who will be now performing our table topics. Let's welcome Brenda Alaco. Thank you. Thank you. You want this?
Wow. Okay. So that means everyone will get to participate today. So to help us join our motivational excursion with the hope that we all have something that we learned today. Great speeches from both of our speakers today. Do I have a volunteer? Lisa, come on up. Come on up, Lisa. Lisa is a veteran in Toastmasters, having served as an area and division director at one time. The way we're going to be doing table topics today, because we want to get ready for the contest that'll be coming up soon, is when you deliver your table topics, you'll be evaluated as if you were in a contest. No pressure. Yeah, so it'll be just like the round robins. All right. Dream it, wish it, do it. What does that say to what your journey is going to be like for your future?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Dream it, wish it, do it. What 3 awesome phrases to ignite a fire of excursions about our future life's journey. Dream it. Dreams are what we snuggle under our covers at night, see in our minds with our families, our friends. Wishes are our bucket lists, our journey to the Grand Canyon, our opportunity to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And I can't remember the dream it, wish it, do it. And do it is the action plan. We sit down, think about the steps and the people and the mentors and the tools that we will need to move forward, to climb our ladder, to experience our hopes in order to accomplish what's in our hearts. Dream it means to imagine it while we're under our covers, wish it, get out the bucket list and check off what we're doing, and do it, put an action plan together and gather our mentors and tools to make it happen. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Laurean, you're up.
Okay.
What's your name? Lisa. Lisa, what I thought you did really, really well, you had a beginning, a middle, and an introduction. So glad you formatted that really good. I think you just stepped into it, so you're just a natural in doing that. What I liked about your table topics is you had a very soft, soothing voice, and it came across confidently. Not just soft, but it came across as confident, quiet. And that was really soothing to me. I enjoyed listening to you. What I thought you could do better is I would have liked to have seen you move around a little bit more. You kind of stayed in one space, moved feet around. You were talking about 3 different things, so I would have liked to have seen you move for each of those 3 different things. So that would have been great. Even if you just stepped here and then you just took a side step for the next one, and then a side step for the next one, and then reset at the end. I thought you could have done better there. What I thought you did absolutely best is you used very good, vivid language. So as you described each 3 things, you talked about snuggling. It was vivid. It was awesome. Appreciate it. Good job. Hate to compete against you.
Thank you, Laurean. Any other volunteers? All right, Jeanette, come on up. Success doesn't just find you. You have to go out and get it. What does that say to you?
Thank you, Table Topics Master. Yes, I have, oh, sorry. I learned recently, or in the past couple of years, I have a brother who jobs find him instead of him going out to look for jobs. So I'm like, how do I do that? But now I'm learning I have to actually jump out and look for that success. So I plan, and I think, so could you repeat the question one more time? Okay. So yes, right now I am working out to go find my success. As some of you know, I was a past area director. A year ago, I was a division director, and now I'm taking on the lead role of conference chair. So I am trying to find my own successes. And I'm trying to find out, where do I fit in this life? And what can I do to help manage this world and make it a better place for everybody? Because I have several friends that are kind of down in the dumps, if you will. And I'm trying to pick them up, and using my strategy with our conference, Jazz Up Your Journey, I'm trying to jazz up their journey. So if I can help other people become more successful, I'll become more successful. Thank you.
All right, Laurean, your evaluation.
Okay, what I thought you did good with your table topic is you had a really good vocal level. So you're very easy to hear. Your words were clear and distinct. You're very easy to understand. So I enjoyed that part. What I thought you could do better is when you're given a question, it's okay to take a pause and reflect and think about it. You don't have to start speaking as soon as you get the question. Remember at district, we learned how to drop the pen on our way up to buy us some time. So the timer doesn't start until you open your mouth. You know, so take that time to reflect, because you didn't have a format. So take that time. And then what I thought you did absolutely best in your table topic is you shared from the heart. So above all things, you were authentic, you were genuine, and you shared from the heart. And I love that.
I don't want to dismiss our online folks. Is there anyone that's online that would like to take the next question? Cathy, I think you're the only other online, because I know Jan had to go.
Oh, did he? Okay, then I would be happy to go.
All right. The harder you work for something, the greater you'll feel when you achieve it. Tell us how that sings to you. The harder you work for something, the greater you'll feel when you achieve it.
For some people, their experiences in life seem to be easy. They talk with ease. They can do things and tasks and skills without a problem. I have to struggle with a lot of things. I don't remember things, and I have things that come out of my mouth that don't flow. So I have to put in the hard work to make a success at this. I had to learn about my finances because no one taught me in my family how to manage my finances, but I did the hard work. I even took extra courses in order to learn about finances, and I became a certified financial planner, which allowed me then to help others through my own business for 13 years. And then my life brought me another path, but I had to do some hard work. The hard work was being in front of peers of 250 and getting chosen to be one of 40 to go through a coaching academy with Tony Robbins. And being on that coaching academy, oh my gosh, I had to work. I had to take in, I had to learn so much information. I had to learn how to change my mind, my state. I had to put in lots of work. So don't be afraid if things don't come easy to you. Don't be afraid if you're not the glamorous, the easy talker. Put in the hard work and you can still achieve success.
Okay, Laurean.
Okay, Cathy, you took a good amount of time, which I appreciated, to think about the question, contemplate it, and prepare your mind. You were very animated on the stage. You were really good about doing that. But that was also your drawback. You stayed high the whole time. So even though you were animated the whole time, and that could come across as vocal variety, you only had one level. It was high the whole time. So it's great, but there was nothing to be opposite of that. I don't know the word for that. What I thought you did best is you do look like a professional speaker. You do look like you own the stage. So continue owning it, continue doing that. Just work on keeping us drawn in through how you use your voice.
Thank you very much.
Do I have a volunteer or shall I voluntold? All right, Simplest, come on out. Your quote, dream bigger, do bigger.
Thank you. That buys me time. Dream bigger, do bigger. If we are going to dream, let's make it big. Because in my view, the amount of work and a lot of dreaming it takes to achieve small goals is about the same amount of work and amount of time and amount of dreaming that it takes to achieve big goals. For example, I have a friend after high school, he decided he got a scholarship from Senegal to go to Algeria. He was going for a 3-year program. But when he got there, he looked around and he told himself, why would I go for a 3-year degree when everybody I see around here don't look like they are smarter than I am? So what he did, he went on and got a 4-year degree, then got a master's, and then went to Eastern Europe, I believe, to get a PhD. So if he were to stay in the bucket he was put in and say, okay, you just go do a 2-year degree or 3-year degree, he would have not achieved what he have achieved today. So I think that's a great example of dream big and achieve big. No. So that's it. Sorry.
That's okay. All right, Laurean.
What I think you did really good with your speech is that you're authentic. You're just yourself. You're standing in your own space, and I really enjoy that because anytime I know that you're going to speak from the heart. So I always know that we're going to get something genuine. So I enjoy that part. What I thought you could do better is it wasn't organized very well. It was kind of all over the place, and I was losing myself. Even in my notes, I was losing myself, and I had a lot of blanks. I'm like, I don't have blanks by now. I had a lot of blanks. What I thought you did best is you always have a really good story to tell that we've never heard before. So you're a really good storyteller, and I enjoy hearing your stories. So keep building on the stories that you tell. Good job.
Okay, so looking around the room, there's only 3 of us that have not yet come up.
Okay, I'll come.
Okay, so Laurean, come on up.
Okay, Jean, you're my evaluator.
Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Tell us about that.
I actually say, I say something similar in my life. I say, we'll sleep when we're dead. I have a lot of determination in my life. I love to keep going. And I don't know if it's determination, sheer will, or persistence. But there's something about when you decide to set a goal for yourself and you keep going after it, that you just keep going. Because I know the world is going to bring times and people in your life, they're going to take you out at the knees. The bigger your goal, the more they're going to want to come and take you out. I have seen pastors on huge goals get taken out by the devil completely. Cancer, death, whatever, but that shouldn't kill the vision. So earlier we talked about dreaming big. Dream big. Be prepared to be taken out. Pull yourself up by the bra straps and get out there and keep going. Don't stop. Because when you finally get to that top of the mountain, and the bigger the mountain, the harder the climb, you get up there and the oxygen level's low, you're sitting there going, I did all this. What's the next mountain? Keep climbing, everybody.
Okay, Jean, come on up and give the evaluation for Laurean. And then hang tight because you're next on deck.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, Table Topics Master, Laurean. What I love about you is when you come up here and start talking, you command the stage, you command our attention. There is nowhere else for us to think or go when you're up here talking. So I've seen you now speak twice, and both times I feel like that has really happened. I think your hand gestures, your facial expression, your vocal variety are all fantastic. If there was something I could suggest to you, I've noticed your eye contact. There's a person right there you like to look at. I'm not quite sure who it is, but I would just recommend, look at us. I mean, we might not be as pretty as that person right there, but that's what I'm going to go with. I love your analogies. I'm not sure how I'm going to pick myself up by the bra strap. I guess I could stop at Target on the way home, but I loved it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I love how you bring in energy and excitement to share with us. Great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wake up with determination and go to bed with satisfaction.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters. Wake up with satisfaction is my motto. My philosophy is every morning when my foot hits that ground, it's time. I'm on stage. I'm excited. I'm thrilled because I woke up today and a lot of people didn't. So I made that decision many, many years ago. I could wake up feeling like crap. And it might be because I had too much fun the night before, or it might just be I'm working too hard and didn't have enough fun, but I'm going to wake up with satisfaction or determination to go and make the day happen. But when I go to bed at night, that's probably my area of opportunity. I don't know that I look back at my day. I don't know that I evaluate it and say, hey, I was satisfied today. I went out and did and accomplished what I wanted to. Now, part of that is I'm incredibly hard on myself. I never feel like I do enough. And I'll tell you a story. I'm trying to surprise my parents with a bathroom remodel. They come back to Florida on Saturday. And I had a year to get this done, and I haven't got it done. And so I'm thinking maybe I'll surprise them and have it done before they get here. And my mom texted me Friday morning. I landed at 11 o'clock in Tampa Didn't get home until midnight Thursday night. First thing Friday morning, did you forward my mail yet? And I just responded, Mom, you're killing me. I got in at noon last night. So I challenged myself. She was just trying to remind me so that I wouldn't forget to do it. And the shame on me, because I could have taught her how to forward her mail at USPS.com, which is very easy. And then I would have had more of a satisfaction that night when I went to bed, knowing that I didn't have to do it anymore. But I try to live by, again, when I step up in the morning, let's go, because we never know when our days are going to be over. And I do need to get better about at night, making sure that I'm satisfied with everything I did do today. Madam Table Topics Master.
All right, Mike, can we have you up here for just a few minutes? Oh, I'm sorry, Jean's evaluations first, so you still have a little bit more time, Mike.
Okay, Jean, think that was the best answer I've heard so far today. It was very well thought out, very well put together. Don't know if you had more time than anybody else because it was very well put together. What I liked about your speech is that you were excited to tell your answer. You know, your voice was very excited. You had a very exciting presence to you, very thrilling, and you even used the word as I was writing it. So it was pretty, we were on par with that one. What I thought you could do better is you talked about my little person. You have a little finger that you're pointing. I don't know what you're pointing at, but you did a lot of pointing. Just be careful that pointing doesn't end up going that way, that it either stays up or you use the whole hand, because if that finger ends up pointing this way, that could be a problem as a speaker because we don't want to point at the audience. And what I thought you did absolutely best is even though you stayed in one place and didn't use the stage, you pivoted. So as you were showing the contrast between two items, you actually used your whole body and did this little John Travolta pivot, which I thought was pretty cool. So.
Okay, Mike, come on up. Do something today that your future self will thank you for.
Thank you. Let me think about that. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. What I would like to be able to do is go back in time, I don't know, 40 years back to high school, and find this kid, sit down, have a talk with him, say, Mister, listen, you're about to make a career choice to get into a field that, although it sounds interesting, it sounds fascinating, it sounds prosperous, at some point in 2019, you're going to want to hit your face in the wall. Yeah, you wanted to get into computers, right? Okay, yeah, you can make money doing that. You can be prosperous doing that. You can have fun doing that. But no, it's going to suck out your soul. It's going to make you totally miserable the rest of your life. You're going to make money doing it. You're going to meet a lot of friends doing it. You're going to have a good time doing it. But at some point, you're going to wish you did something else. Think about that, kid. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone that would like to give me a question? Oh, wait, sorry, evaluation with Laurean.
Mike, you had a great middle. Your entire speech was a very, like the middle of a speech. We never got the ramp up and we never got the step down. We just got the middle. So there was no building and no conclusion, just the very middle. So it was like we came into the middle of a story. You continue telling that story. And I don't know if it was all going on in your head, but it needs to come out your mouth too, so we can be included in the entire story. So that's all I have to say about that.
All right, is
Brenda
there anyone
needs a
that would like to
question.
give me a question?
Someone needs to give Brenda. Are they on your phone?
Brenda,
Yes.
I can give you one.
Oh.
Okay.
Good.
What is your favorite place on earth?
And it can't
Wow.
be Paris.
My favorite place on earth. If it's a place that I've been to, it is Paris. In fact, I have told my husband on many occasions that if something were to happen to him, I will be in Paris the following day. The house will be sold no matter where we're living at the moment. We have a dog, so the dog will be coming with me. And we will be walking around on the streets of Paris. I'm already a starving artist, so I've got that down pat. But my trip to Paris, now 15 years ago, was a dream come true. And at that moment, I had texted my husband within 5 hours of landing in Paris and said, I want to live here. I love the fact that I could walk around, and even though the day I landed, there was a huge riot and 2 individuals had managed to electrocute themselves by trying to climb over a fence. I don't speak the language, to the chagrin of the driver, who said, how much of the language do you speak? And I said, I can say parlez-vous français as if I was coming from South. Therefore, he gave me some instructions on how to speak certain languages. So I knew how to say, where's the bathroom and how much is that? Neither of which I needed at that moment. But what I loved was, if you understand their culture, you got along great with everybody. I only had one incident in which I said, well, that was rude. And that was, I was trying to find the right subway to take to go to my destination. And the toll booth taker said, it's that way, it's that way. And I'm going, there's 2 that ways. Which one is it? Make up your mind. Thank you. Laurean.
Okay. Brenda, great table topic. I think this is the first time I've seen you speak where you owned your own confidence. I felt you extremely confident and standing in a topic that you knew really, really well. And I would encourage you to do that in your future speeches, because this time that you spoke, I really wanted to hear what you had to say. I was really pulled into what you were saying, and I felt like you really understood what you were sharing, and you had something burning in your belly, just itching to get out and get all over us. And I just wanted you to keep going and going because I wanted to hear more and more. And I've heard you speak many, many times, and this is the first time I felt that from you, and I think it was because it's
All right, everyone has had a single round. And, is John Paul still with us? I knew John had to leave because that's why he wanted to do the evaluation ahead of time. Do you want another round of table topics? We have time, ladies and gentlemen.
Sure.
All right. Well, here we go on another excursion of table topics. All right. Hey, Lisa, it's your turn again. Maybe. Might switch that up too. All right, Lisa. Little things make big days. Little things make big days.
Little things make big days. Wow, what an absolutely awesome table topic. Because so many times during the course of my day, I say to myself, oh, this absolutely little thing makes a huge big day for me. Now, I'm originally from Washington, D.C., the home of the brave, right? Because there's the statue there of the men trying to hold up the flag at Tripoli. There's the awesome statue of Martin Luther King coming out of rock, which is absolutely amazing. And so in that city, there are traffic jams and lights firing all the time. And it was there that I came to realize how little things make a big difference. Fast forward, I now live in Florida. And one of the things that's very small, incredibly small, a bead of sand brings me so much joy because I'm in the sea at Anna Maria Island, the Gulf. And when I get in my car and I look down and there's sand on the bottom of my carpet in my car, that just brings me so much joy. Yay, I live in Florida, there's sand in my car. This is an absolutely wonderful time. And that little bead of sand reminds me that I spent an absolutely wonderful day basking in the sun, away from the sirens of Washington, listening to the roar of the waves, and the sand goes home with me.
All right, Laurean.
Wow, what a difference between this table topic and the last table topic you gave. It's like two different people. I love how you took the time to consider the question, because it actually made me feel important, that what you're going to tell me was important, that my time was important. So I appreciated that. I appreciated that you did that. What I thought you could do better is the same one as last time, move around. What I thought you did absolutely best on this one is you continued your use of your vivid language, but this time you incorporated your body language with the vivid language. Like you combined them. Like, I want to go wash the sand off my toes right now. They feel dusty and dirty. So you did a good job combining the two. I thought that was probably your best point with that awesome table topic. Good job.
Jeanette, come on up. This one I think is going to be especially for you.
I'll pause today.
Okay. It's going to be hard, but hard does not mean impossible.
Yes, I feel that does resonate with me right now. It's going to be hard to put on this big show that I'm working on producing for District 48 because I want to wow you all. So that's my plan. When you walk into Tampa Marriott Airport come May 1st, you're not going to know what hit you, literally, because you're going to see a line of stars, a line of many people that you've never seen in your life before. So I'm going to do my, if I can say this word literally, damnedest to wow everybody at this conference. And yes, I am striving very hard to do all my creativeness. And I do have the people in my world, especially one up to my right or my left over here. And I'm also actually using my family, my brother, who is a creative artist, who's going to help us hopefully create the logo we're going to use. So I'm working on him to create us a logo. So I'm going to make it easy on myself, but it's going to be hard because I need to work on handling all the different variations of my delicacies. Thank you.
All right, Laurean.
Okay. Great format to your table topic. I felt like there was definitely structure to what you were saying. I loved your energy behind it all. I felt engaged in what you were saying. I wanted to continue listening to what you're talking about. This room, I don't know why, but we don't want to move around. That X does not mean plant your feet here and grow roots. It means start here, end here, but don't stay here. So you guys, we have marks. Please use them. You know, one of our biggest things is, and they're designed to go with the screen up there, so please use it. And I was thinking about this when Cathy was speaking too. I'd like to see her use her hands.
This one should resonate with you pretty well. Don't wait for opportunity, create it.
Is that for me? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear Laurean, so I don't know what's going on.
Yes, that's for you.
Okay, repeat the question, please.
Absolutely. Don't wait for opportunity, create it. Don't wait for opportunity, create.
Waiting for opportunity could we leave you waiting for a long time, because a lot of times we don't even see the opportunities that are right in front of us. They are there and we don't see them. We can do table topics at any moment, and yet sometimes we have to be voluntold to do a table topic. So you have to create your opportunities. They can abound just by your imagination. One of the things that I created was the opportunity to be in an advanced club where I can learn to do other things, to kind of present online. And this is the first time I'm doing this. So I created this opportunity to step into it, to learn and grow. What is the opportunity that was in front of your face that you didn't realize until maybe it was too late? I know I've had many of those that I didn't take advantage of because I was afraid. That fear kicked in, and I let that opportunity just go by because I wasn't creating what I wanted. I was hoping things would happen, and I was avoiding things that seemed too big and scary. But we all have the opportunity to create our opportunities and to make them happen. So what is the opportunity that you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for it to do its job without you doing yours?
Thank you, Cathy. All right, Laurean.
Okay, Cathy, you just demonstrated to me my vision for Smedley, which is where we give a presentation, we're given an evaluation, and then we immediately give another one, and we use the evaluations we were given, whether we agree or not, and implement them into what we're doing. We trust the environment, we trust, and we go with it. Cathy, you did that. I asked you to change your voice around. You did that. You had a thought-provoking message. Even though the majority of her speech was high, when she wanted to give us a thought-provoking message, she came down. And what does that do? It pulls us in. It makes us lean forward and listen. We thought about it. The other thing I also made a point was to ask you to use the entire screen, and you used the entire screen. Your hands expanded your entire stage, and that was, yes, it was really, really awesome. So you did really good. You just demonstrated exactly my vision for the Order of Smedley in a very powerful way. Thank you, and great table topic.
Thank you, Laurean.
All right. Simplest, come on up. Sometimes we're tested not to show our weakness, but to discover our strengths.
Each opportunity, each difficulty, every single challenge we face in life is an opportunity for us to step up and face it and grow. Without any challenges, without any difficulties, I don't know how one can grow and one can show himself, his family, and the world what he or she is capable of. It's only in face of challenges that we can find, that we can discover ourselves. Then we can show ourselves how far we can go, that we can stretch ourselves and achieve our goals if that's what we are after, or just show our resilience in face of difficulties. I'm sure each and every one of us here have had to face challenges. whether it be illnesses for ourselves or our families, loss of jobs, loss of income. But what did we do to go past it? What did we do to get over it? We just had to buckle down and fight and get over it. So for me, every opportunity, every time we face challenges, it doesn't call for us to feel sorry about ourselves and to pity ourselves, but it's always an opportunity for us to grow and to get to the next level.
Laurean.
Well, you guys, like round 2 is like on steroids. This is awesome. You guys just needed a practice round and then we're like really doing a good round. This is awesome. Simplice, what I loved about this round is your power. This time when you were up there, this is the most powerful I've ever felt you. You spoke with such conviction. I couldn't deny anything you were saying. Whether or not you disagree or agree with me, I just felt compelled to agree with you 100% because of the way in which you were saying it. You really owned the words and the story you were telling. I really enjoyed that part. What I thought you could do better is, you guys, when I said use the whole stage, I didn't mean pace like a caged lion. You have to have intentional movements when you move. So aces for moving, a little bit more intentional with how you move. So
All right, Laurean. Push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you.
say that again.
Push yourself.
Push. Oh, yeah.
Because no one else is going to do it for you.
Folks, if you're waiting for a knight on a white horse, he ain't coming. Ain't no one gonna save you. Those are the stuff Disney movies are no longer made of. Oh, that's true. We do. I agree with that. If you don't pull yourself up, no one else will. If you can't do it for yourself, no one else is going to do it for you. Nobody. Whatever it takes. Now, I'm not saying you have to be up here all the time. But when that moment matters, when that plane is on fire, when that child needs your hand held, or a soothing word said, or not said, no one else is going to tell you to do it. You've got to do it. And you can only do it in the way that you are. Only you can do it your way. I can't soothe someone the way Jeanette soothes someone, and I can't love someone the way Brenda loves someone. Certainly can't love Paris the way she loves Paris. I don't ever want to go back. I'm a Rome girl. But if you don't push yourself, no one else will. And if you don't do it, you will not reach the goals. They will simply be hopes. And hope is not a strategy. You got to set a goal, put it on the calendar, and tell yourself every day as you brush your teeth in the mirror, I got this. You got this, girl. You can do this. You own this. You're awesome. Everybody, do it.
All right, Jean, come on up.
God, I hope I didn't look at that little person.
Thank you. Laurean, fantastic job. As I was pointing again, you weren't looking at that little person there. Yay, that was a big success. That was fantastic. It was interesting. You started off your speech doing exactly what you've been asking us not to do. You stood here in the middle. And it took you a little while to get going. But then when you finally got revved up, you got into it. And I love how you do these, you do this knee movement and you have certain words that you say and you did it on both sides. So it's something intuitive to who you are. So I think that's absolutely fantastic and really keeps us engaged with what's happening. if there was something I could suggest to you, I'm going to give you the same advice that you gave to Cathy. You're up here.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have something really important, come down here so that we can listen and know that it's a little more serious advice from you. And I think you had a couple opportunities within your speech that you could have done that today. And I think that's hard. I think you and Cathy and I could probably drink about that and try to figure out how we can do that, because that's the problem. When you're up here 98% of the time, it's kind of hard to come down here a little bit of the time. And the other suggestion, even though we have this space, we don't get over here. And I've noticed that as a whole when I was just as guilty. And I don't know if it's that camera that's intimidating us or what it is, but we just are not getting to this corner. And so I think Mike might feel a little left out today because we're never coming over to visit him. So that may be an area of opportunity.
Okay, great.
All right. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along. Sure.
That was a lot.
Yeah, I know, it's a long one. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I recently was on a couple planes, and one of the shows that I was watching on the plane was Modern Family. And there was an episode where they had a person come in to visit them, and he breaks out a $800 bottle of wine that they had been saving for a special occasion. And then a little later for breakfast, they uncover that he broke out a $300 jar of caviar that they were saving for a special occasion. And they were upset. And the friend's like, what are you waiting for? Why does it have to be a special occasion? Why can't you just let it be today and start now? So wow, what a tie-in to what I just heard. But then also in the airport, I get a message from my neighbor's daughter that my neighbor passed away. Freak accident. Weren't expecting it, unexpected, not planned. You know what? Sometimes I think you can plan a little bit for it. You know it's coming. Sometimes it's just there. And it really slapped me across the face to say, Jean, start living today like it's your last day. And I thought I try, but I get in that rut, I think, where I kind of forget and I become complacent with life and I want to complain about everything. And I'm not using all the tools and all the energy and everything I have to be a better person. Because the tool that I think is the most important is every day my goal is, can I make this world just a little bit better than it was when I started? I don't know if any of you are out there on social media, but it's a hate fest 90% of the time. It's a political bloodbath that no one's ever going to win. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. It's frustrating to see. And now we've got the religious wing throwing slams and wait a minute, that's not what it's all about. So that's my tool that I want to use and I challenge all of us to use. How do we just smile when someone just irritated us versus getting frustrated? How do we wave gently versus waving with one finger when someone might have cut us off today on the road? Because if we can just take one step at a time and use those tools, I think we'll be a much better society. Madam Table Toastmaster.
Thank you, Laurean.
Jean, I like how you started with the story. That was really awesome. I love an example that you had set up. I loved how you took the feedback and controlled your hand gestures, because the ones that you did have were impactful. So thanks for implementing that feedback right away, whether or not you agree with it. I'm not sure if you completely answered the question. So in a contest, that could be a difficult one to win. You did talk about tools, but I'm not sure if you actually answered the question. So be careful of that if you're going to compete at a you can't because your area, but be careful. I loved how you actually sang some words. You were talking about whining and you're actually singing it. So I thought that was pretty kind of cool. So good job overall. Next time, answer the question. It was basically start where you are. Whatever you're going to do, just start where you are and it'll come to you as you move along. Okay. Mike,
are you ready? Press forward. Do not stop. Do not linger in your journey, but strive for the mark set before you.
I'd like to buy a vowel. Living in Florida, one of the things that we see here all the time is the 365-day-a-year growing season. 4 years ago, my family and I moved into a house with too many trees, too much grass, too many bushes, too many vines, everything that's always growing. I find myself each weekend, sometimes middle of the week, something I have to cut or trim or prune. And that's how I press forward. I realize, gosh, this branch is too low. It's going to hit the garbage truck when they come in the morning and collect my garbage. Sure enough, it does. So I cut that branch off. Well, gosh, this branch is too low. It's going to hit pedestrians in the face when they're walking down the sidewalk. Cut that off. Oh, gosh, this branch is too low. It's interfering with the screen out back. Cut that off. It's all about exactly like Jean said, each time you make the increments, you make the changes, each change to make something better. Each change to move you from where you are to where you need to be. You can't make all the changes at once. You can't do everything every day. You have to realize, okay, I will control today what I can control, and tomorrow I'll have somebody cut the grass. Maybe, I don't know, the male who lives with me that doesn't pay rent. Or maybe have him do something else that perhaps will give him the idea that he's not living here for free. The idea is, too, that as I press forward, I set that as an example for him, for his sister, maybe even for his mother. The idea that is each day we move forward. Each day you do a little bit that makes tomorrow that much easier, because you can't do it all today, but you can't do nothing either. Thank you.
I feel your pain. Dennis is edging and mowing and trimming as we speak. At least he better be. All right, Laurean.
Okay, Mike, great table topic. I loved how you started with the joke and you almost ended with the joke and then you kept going on. But you started and ended with a joke. That's a good way to break the ice and give you a little bit more time to think about what you're going to talk about. What I thought you could do better is your eye contact. I think you're just looking at the back of your glasses. I don't know if you're looking at anybody in particular. So a little bit, and I was looking to see if you would look at anybody in the room. And I don't know where your eyes are going, but I didn't feel like they were landing on people. I loved how your hand, instead of using the stage, you let your hand do the work. So you were talking about from here to there, and you used your hand to kind of divide up that space. I really liked how you did that. So good job.
Thank you. All right. Cathy, do you have another question for me?
I do.
She's prepared.
All right, Brenda.
Yes.
How would you describe your future in 3 words? Brenda, how would you describe your future in 3 words?
Thank you. Sandy beaches or mountains, because I'm not sure where we're going to live come this time next year. Our goal is to finish the renovations on our home, sell it, and we have talked about moving from everywhere from Fort Myers to the south of France, although I don't think the south of France is going to win out. Galleries. As I mentioned before, I am a starving artist. No matter what my body shape says, I haven't had a gallery open in over a year. And I'm working towards some of my art to be seen in a gallery again. This time, the art is going to be a little different because I've ventured into the world of decoupage. The challenge with decoupage is finding the paper. I don't want to do napkins, tablecloths, but to find the right style of Japanese artwork to put on glass. And I've been studying with another decoupage artist to help me bring that out. Relaxed. I have been employed for 19 years. And it seems when I'm in corporate America, I have a 13-year cycle. I was a buyer for a shoe boutique on St. Armand's Key. The job lasted 13 years. What happened? I got married. My husband had a job in Largo. 3 days into his job, somebody ran into the Skyway Bridge, and it took me 3 hours to find out that he made it to work. We moved to Largo within a month. There are other things that I could talk about, but I see the red flag, so I'm not going to. Thank you.
I gave you a tough one, Brenda.
You did.
She did awesome with it. What I thought you did really awesome with it is you used really good visual words. You chose 3 very descriptive words, and then you talked us through them. And I loved how you used the stage. This is how you use the stage intentionally, Simply. You started with one word here. Like you intentionally, before she started speaking, did you know she started over here? You know, she didn't like introduce us and then move over. She just went ahead and started over here. You did your first word, sandy beaches, and then you moved to the middle. You talked about the south of France or mountains, and then you moved to the last one, and then that's where it fell off the rails, because you started talking about being relaxed, and you were supposed to finish the story of being relaxed there before you moved, and as soon as you mentioned relaxed, you moved away. So it kind of took us out of the visual story that you were telling. So finish telling the relaxed, and I don't know if it's because it's in the corner, but finish telling the story, and then move when you're about to do your wrap up. So great try.
It's tough when you're looking at the and it's like, okay, I have 30
camera,
seconds,
yeah.
I have 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's it for table topics. So I'm going to turn it over to our
General evaluator.
general evaluator to complete our meeting. Thank you all very much. Great round.
Now I will be calling on the functionaries to come and give us their reports. The first one will be the timer. Jim, could you please come over?
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Here is the report for time today. So, Laurean, in your speech, you were supposed to go 4 to 6 minutes. You went a whopping 11 minutes and 4 seconds. Cathy, 4 to 6 minutes. You went 6 minutes and 42 seconds. During evaluators, John Paul, 3:04, Jeanette, 2:05. During table topics, Lisa, you were 1:26 and 1:39. Jeanette, you were 1:23 and 1:09. Cathy, you were 1:55 and 1:52. Simplish, you were 1:43 and 2 minutes even. Laurean, you were 1 minute 15 seconds and 1 minute 48 seconds. I was 1 minute 45 seconds and 2 minutes 10 seconds. Mike, you were 1:07 and 1:55. Brenda, you were 2:04 and 2:14. Mr. General Evaluator.
Wow.
Now we're calling on Laurean to come here and report.
Thank you. Got this. I still have this one. Okay. Wow, great use of the word of the day, excursion. I heard it used 3 times a day, not by me at all, but Jean-Paul online had used it, Brenda used it, and Lisa used it. Way to go, word of the day. Lisa also used some great vocabulary. She talked about snuggling under the covers. I was like, and she used it twice in her speech. I wanted to snuggle. I think the evaluator used it. I kept wanting to snuggle. And you also used something that I can't read. Home of the Brave. You talked about Home of the Brave. So I like that. I use, as my evaluator pointed out, the circus elephants. So I really enjoy the analogy of the circus elephants whenever I tell that story, which I tell a lot. Let's see, what else? And you said I used pick yourself up by the bra straps. I love that phrase. Jean, I loved how you used the word thrilled. I don't hear that word often enough. I wish we heard it more. People should be thrilled about what they're doing, and I enjoy the fact that you actually used it. Mike, I loved how you opened and closed your table topics with a joke. Got us all going. This has been a really fun meeting. We've been doing a lot of laughing, even though we've been doing a lot of work. You've also used suck out your soul. I mean, it's like a negative phrase, but it was very visual. I just kind of felt some of that soul that I was trying to put back in my heart and getting sucked back out. So great job overall. Great use of vivid language by everybody. So good meeting today, you guys.
Thank you. Brenda will be the art counter today.
Oh, yeah, I bet she was busy.
You would think that excursion was our word of the day. However, based on my tick, 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 the word of the day was so. With a little bit of help from our ahs, ums, and a few ands. There was a couple double clutch and change of direction. And the change of direction is when you're starting with one sentence and all of a sudden you go, oh no, that's not where I want to go. And you finish up with a different sentence. There was just a few of those. Overall, we didn't do too bad with this. But again, we need to watch the so's and the ands because we don't need to add them in because they could double up as a filler. So rather than saying so and an, pause and just begin with the next sentence. Thank you. General Evaluator.
I think we had an excellent meeting today. That's probably one of the best ones I've attended. We were a small group, but definitely I just enjoyed it. I loved it. We started at 10:33, which was pretty good. Laurean and Jeanette, thank you for the switch and shake dance. That kept it solid in my mind. Make sure I do that. Jan evaluated Laurean. He did a very great job. I think he's gone, but I think Jan is probably, he's a natural speaker, probably a professional speaker, not sure. But what I liked is the fact that he reminded us all, without saying it, of the importance of having a structure each time we speak, not just when we are giving a speech, but when we are giving an evaluation or during table topics. And he did a good job noticing the Laurean's very good use of body language and variety in her speech. Janet evaluated Cathy, which she did a very good job doing. The one thing I would have done differently will be to ask Cathy about which path she's on. That way, you know it. Beside that, I think that's all I had to say, and very good job. Now I will call on Laurean for the guest comments.
It goes back to the Toastmaster.
Oh.
Thank you. So we're almost, oh, yeah, those are just my notes, or my secretarial notes. Yeah, I agree with Simplis. This was a fun, exciting meeting, and I like the enthusiasm that Laurean put into our evaluation for table topics. So when I go to my other clubs, I'll know how to respond now. But in retrospect of that, if Cathy does not want to compete this year, I would love to have you be the table topics master at the district level. Think if you're interested.
I think I still want to compete.
Okay, well, if you don't win, maybe I'll ask you again.
Okay. I noticed that on the schedule, I think there's a thing in November 9th. I don't remember what contest that is.
District.
That's a division.
Yeah,
Okay,
division.
and I will be gone that weekend, so I won't even actually be able to participate or go all the way to, whatever. So maybe
Well,
So you can
compete
still compete and
at
go
the
as far as
area.
you can,
Yeah,
and we'll
yeah,
take it from
yeah.
there.
Okay.
Because maybe they'll let us do the division like they do the international.
Well, they'll just send the second place instead.
Yeah. No. But I think we had a great meeting, and thank you for allowing me to be your Toastmaster. And this gives me more practice on speaking in front of little crowds and big crowds. And I will now hand over the microphone over to our lovely president, Laurean.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm still Mike in green. Okay. At this time, before I get into announcements and everything and talk about continuing on the vision of Smedley, I would like to call on Lisa for your comments on from your guest experience of today's meeting. Oh, microphone. Oh, wait. No.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to come today. Thank you, Brenda, for inviting me. I really enjoyed today's meeting. I love your use of the Zoom Cloud app to allow people to participate from home. I think that's awesome. I love the way you have more than one screen that everyone can kind of see everyone. And I also like the fact that you have really good audio, because you go to a lot of meetings and oftentimes people want to come, but they can't. And then when people do show, there isn't enough audio for them to actually be heard. And so people are struggling to hear the speeches, struggling to hear the evaluations. So kudos to you for having a great audio presence and a great use of technology for the meeting. I think that an hour of table topics is awesome. I don't know if you guys have read the book Yes and by Kelly Leonard. Yes and talks about how improvisation improves creativity and performance in the workplace. And to have all of us to participate in table topics for an hour, you don't know what you've done in terms of moving yourselves forward to create great solutions to problems in your homes, in the workplace, pretty much wherever you go. So kudos again for implementing a great strategy that makes us all better. Glad I had an opportunity to participate today.
Well, we're so glad you came today, Lisa. Thank you for that feedback. You know, one of the things I learned a long time ago is you set a goal, you put it up there, and if the universe sends it back, you know you've hit it. We set a goal in this club to have great audio. We just invested in great audio. This is our second meeting with all of our new audio. And Mike, your feedback just came back to you from the universe that you're doing an awesome job and you hit your goal. So great job. So we experienced some of the vision of Smedley today, giving a speech, getting immediate feedback, implementing it, and seeing how it turns out, okay? At some point, I wanted to get that into our speeches too, where you give a speech. Now we're getting better at giving immediate evaluation after the speech. My end vision is that your evaluator will be given permission by you to stop you in the middle of your speech, give you some positive correction, you implement it on the spot and keep going. Be a challenge for the timer, but that's okay. So that's the ultimate end vision, because giving a speech and getting feedback and not being able to immediately implement it almost sets you up to fail. And in here, we're getting paid to be effective out there. We need to be quick, and we need to be open to immediate feedback and implementing it. Whether or not we agree with it, we need to be open to it, open to trying it, and seeing where it lands. So that's the ultimate vision for Smedley. So we're going to continue working toward that end goal as we go throughout the year. I also enjoyed how it was 100% participation. Everybody had a role, and everybody participated, and nobody got to hide. Now, Jean and Lisa, in our regular meetings, when we don't have 100% table topic participation, we have 100% evaluation. So we do a round robin, and nobody gets, this is not a room to come and hide. This is a room to come and work. So even though you're afraid to give someone feedback on how they spoke that's unique and different than somebody else, you still get to do it. And that's the challenge for you, to think. And when you're thinking and working in here, you're serving your fellow members. You're serving the people because when you don't give that person what they're looking for, you're stealing from them. And we all came in here because givers gain. If you're into my speech and you're giving me my evaluation, you're winning too. And you're winning from what he's saying to me. So 100% participation in every meeting. I think we finally got this ball rolling in the right direction. It felt great. I'm on fire. I'm excited. I'm thrilled for the future of Smedley. And if we can keep building this and keep doing this, and then we eventually do break our Zoom account with 100 people online, which is another goal of Smedley, is to break our Zoom account with an open house that breaks our maximum allowance. What an awesome meeting that would be. How thrilling will that be? It's the ultimate vision of Smedley. All right, so we have a club contest. We have a problem with our club contest. This club contest is coming up quick because our area director made a quick area contest, and we don't meet every week. So the challenge is on us to send 2 people to contest, to the area contest. Now the area, well, we have two contests, humorous and table topics. Okay, so our area contest, which I'll let Jean tell about where, when, and all that, is on Sunday, September 6th, 22nd. The problem is we only have 1 club meeting between now and then. Yeah, we only have 1 meeting between now and then. So what do we need? We need to run 2 contests with 1 contest master, 1 chief judge, contestants, functionaries, the whole 9 yards. Now, here's the thing. We only need to run a contest is if we have people who want to compete. I sent it out to the club. No one responded that they wanted to contest master or judge, but I had a lot of denials. And no one responded that they want to compete, other than the fact that I know Cathy enjoys table topics and she's a fierce competitor. So I know in her heart she likes to compete. Brenda. Okay. Okay, well, hold on. Is there anybody else that wants to compete in humorous and table topics? Because what we could do is pick someone to send. We can nominate, and we don't have to hold a contest. That's kind of what I'm giving out there. Now, we had the discussion at the officers meeting, which I think almost everybody in the room, and we agreed that's an okay path to take. So we have to decide here and now which path do we want to take. So I did want to compete with humorous, but I'm willing not to have the 2 nominees go and not have a contest, because we do have speakers on the agenda for that meeting that I have to figure out what to do. We have the Regions Bank workshop. The bank is coming in for the workshop, and y'all surveys came back very intriguing, not impeccable, but intriguing. So I don't want to miss the workshop that Regions Bank put together for us. So what do you guys want to do? I'm for nominating Cathy and Brenda and not having a contest. Anybody else?
Well, if there is anybody else that wants to do table topics, being that I can't even attend the division on the 9th, then I could certainly step down and you could nominate someone else. No,
Cathy, I still want you to compete, because you can still compete at area, and who knows, you might lose. And then you'll know that too. But then you'll win, and Cathy, if you win at area, you'll know that too. And that's okay, because you'll walk away as a winner. 2nd place will take your place at district. So I still want you to put on your competitive hat, because that's where you best serve. So I want you to stay in that place.
Just a suggestion, you got 2 that want to compete humor, maybe don't have a table topics contest, but have 2 people.
Either way, we still have people. We don't have anyone that has stepped up yet to do the roles to pull that off.
Could you pass the mic to people who are speaking, because I can't hear them?
Oh, is it on? Can you say that again for Cathy?
Yeah, I just made the recommendation, if there's two that want to speak together in the humorist, have that contest, but then pick a winner to go on in the table topics. And then Laurean added that you still got challenges because we need functionaries and everything to complete the contest.
So if we only have one competitor in each one, it doesn't make sense to have a contest. Jeanette, can you pass it to Jeanette?
I was going to just say I could see if I could get other members to come to that meeting so we can also encourage members to join as our advanced club or what have you. But
Okay, but we still need competitors, and right now we only have
so we only have
3 competitors. I'm willing to back out.
well,
So we
and
only
that is
have 2
also
competitors.
I don't know, but I'm not competing because I'm conference chair, and I don't know if my other 2 conference chairs can compete.
Parvina already said no.
Okay.
And if we can't compete, well, shit, there's my year. I'm the best
will-
international speaker I know in our district.
But you will get a lot of speaking time at the conference. I will allow.
Okay. You just kind of blew my entire bubble. I guess I'll just have to live life through my podcasts. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. What's 1 year off the calendar? Okay, so are we in agreement then? Is there any other?
What's the propose?
The proposal is that we do not hold a club contest, that we nominate or assign or voluntold or appoint both you and Brenda to represent Smedley at the area contest, uncontested. Well, you guys can practice on the 14th. How about that? How about instead of a contest, Brenda, you give your speech on the 14th, and Cathy, for table topics that day, we'll just run you through the ringer.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I want to do that. I want the ringer. so I think that would be a practice session, and then we'll have our regions workshop. And I think that would be a really awesome meeting, because what we can do is, for your humorous, we can try, if you're open to it, my vision of correcting and trying and correcting and trying.
That would be great.
It's in preparation for a contest, so it's got a good purpose. As if that was a lot of competition. I beat Martin. So we'll come up with something. So our table, so that's what we'll do. Does that sound good, you guys? We'll use it as a really big educational session for everybody. So we'll run Cathy through the ringer with table topics. So whoever's our table topics on the 14th needs to focus on preparing Cathy for contest. And whoever is our speech evaluator for the 14th, I would suggest getting with Brenda ahead of time, finding out her goals of the speech, finding out and how to help her. And you're the only one that will be the one correcting her on the spot. Okay, and we'll all come with our happy faces and ready to smile. So everybody's good with that kind of format, and that will be a full 2-hour meeting, you guys. That will take a lot of work. There'll be a lot of work done in that meeting.
I'm also going to say that maybe at the next meeting, let's figure if anybody's going to participate in the international and the evaluation.
Well, that's not until next year.
I know, but let's just see if there's anybody so then we can fulfill that.
Well, we might have new members by then and new opportunities. So, because we want to get the open house going and get this stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and call up. So that takes care of September 14th club contest, and we have a good format for that. Let's go ahead and call up Gene to talk about his area contest.
Thank you, Laurean. And contrary to what Laurean said, that was not the date that I picked, just for the record. Had nothing to do with that one. But the contest is going to be on September 22nd from 1 to 3. It is going to be at the West Pasco Board of Realtors in Newport Richey. It'll be exciting. It'll be fun. None of it's been planned yet, but we still got 3 weeks to make that happen, and it'll be fantastic. We just got the date locked down from that standpoint. And I will tell you part of the reason why it's so soon. That was not the date that we were given for the division contest. It was a lot sooner and got totally moved around, and that's what caused a little bit of the struggle and challenge. And I know Laurean and everybody was sick of the 7,000 emails to finally get that date set, but it is set. Any questions for me about the area contest?
Do you need functionaries?
Yes. I'll be happy to tell Barb. So Barb DeSimone from West Pasco is going to be our contest chair. And if anybody, thank you. And I'll just throw it out there. If anybody's working on their high performance leadership and needs something in the spring and wants to run the contest in the spring, this is the guy you need to talk to. All right, Laurean, back to you.
All right, great, thanks. Appreciate it. Now we also have our division contest on Saturday, November 9th. Typically they're held at Aston Gardens. I haven't heard otherwise. Okay, so I would, okay. And as soon as I adjourn the meeting, before everybody ups and leaves, let's gather around Cathy's mugshot up here and take a group photo. Yeah, so let me adjourn the meeting. Meeting is adjourned, right on time. Yeah, I got a selfie. I got my camera ready. Yeah, let's get around Cathy. Let's group up. We can, well, let them do that, and then we'll try to do one like as a selfie. That'll be fun.
Can we have that one take it for us? Do we have a clicker for it?
There you go. 1, 2, 3. I love it.
Oops.
All right, let's try this again. Get in here. Let's see if we can't. I can always pull one off of there. I could always pull one off of there. Jean, are you in there? I don't know. Okay, let's look at this real quick because we can always pull. I can always pull it off of Zoom. Okay, so everybody's in there. Okay, I'll try that. Now let's try a selfie. Okay. Let me see selfie. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, this works too. Great job, everybody.